Hello again everybody and a very warm welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into episode 1, cold and dark through to engine start in the PMDG 777-300ER for Microsoft Flight Simulator. So for those of you new to the channel, it's great to have you here today. Make sure you hit like, hit subscribe as well, and we'll walk you through the process across a number of episodes to help you complete your first flight with this Boeing 777-300ER by our friends at PMDG. We're in Bravo Charlie here at Manchester Airport, stand 29, and we're off down to London Heathrow, a very short shuttle sector, ideal for a bit of an intense training flight. So I hope you guys enjoy it, find it all useful. And as always, I'll be creating a summarised checklist just to help give you a couple of prompts as well that you'll be able to download for free. The tutorial is also going to expect you to be in the cold and dark GPU state so that we can cover some of the pre-flight setup with a cold and dark version of the aircraft, which is different to that when you load in for the first time. So head to the FMC, PMDG setup, state load, and you want to select cold dark GPU, that option there, and then load it by executing it. And then the aircraft will go cold dark with the GPU connected. We're also going to be using SimBrief today for our flight in order to plan our route and input it into the aeroplane alongside Navigraph for our charts. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure we've got the gear lever down, all of our flap switches, all that sort of stuff, and the throttles are in the right position. They agree with our hardware that we've got. Make sure the fuel control levers are off, and we want to press the parking brake and make sure that is on as well. We'll have all the chocks and things connected down below. Head to your universal flight tablet, press on the electronic flight bag, press the little settings icon, and you want to make sure your Hoppy's ID, if you're using that, is connected, and your SimBrief alias as well is already connected. If you've got the PMDG 737, for example, then that'll already be in there. But if not, add your username before you try and pull the data from the front page. And then you can just have a little look through your settings there and get it all set up to however you prefer. Press on the electronic flight bag and request data from SimBrief. Press the PMDG logo on the UFT and head to ground operations, and all we're going to do is request the jetway, which is already connected. I've already gone ahead and done that prior to starting the flight, and you can set up any other options that you might want to do in the background while you're setting everything else up. But for the purpose of this, we're going to keep it nice and simple and cut out all of this stuff. For example, turn type, you can set that to short, 55 minutes. Turn time of 1 hour 30 to have a bit more of an extended time on the ground. You can create a custom turnaround time, or you can just turn it off, which is what we're going to do today. And have a quick check of your ground maintenance tab. Just make sure you've got nothing that might be broken or affected. And with that in mind, we'll press the home button and turn our attention back to the jet. So power's off at the moment, we are cold and dark. Naturally, this isn't going to be the full procedure, but it is designed for you to just get into the air nice and safely and complete a full flight with as much ease as possible. So we're going to go battery on. Secondary external power for the GPU is available. We'll put both secondary and primary external power to the on position, and we can see the left gen, backup gens and the right gen are all switched on already. We can pop the in-flight entertainment and the cabin utilities to the on position, and left and right bus ties, our automatic APU gen is already on. Working down, we press ADRU to the on position, thrust asymmetric comp is on auto, and then flow through to the bottom before starting on Panel number 2, emergency lights, armed, close the guard. Window heat to the on position, all 4 of them. RAT is closed and guarded, and hydraulics, left engine on. We want centre 1, 2 on, and right engine on as well, followed by the electric system, all onto automatic. No smoking signs are on, seatbelt signs automatic, and we set our cabin lighting as we prefer for the flight today. Panel number 3, EC modes at norm, start mode selector switches at norm, auto start on, jettison panels off, and our fuel panel is currently off. Anti-ice all on automatic, and we've got the nav lights on, so we've got power to the aircraft. All the other lights are off there. We can set logo at night time, for example, if we want to at this point. And then panel number 4, equipment cooling, gas burr, auto and on, resoak fans on. We can set our cabin temperatures and pop our packs onto automatic. Trim air is on, bleed air auto, left and right engine bleed air on, APU bleed air auto, pressurization auto, forward and aft for the outflow valves, and we've got both the wipers on the left and right hand side there to the off position. Good. And now we'll turn our attention to the FMC. So, in here then, as the aircraft's coming to life, we can set up the various different options, and we can hear the self-test going off in the background as well. Depending on what you're flying, you can go through these different setting options and get it all configured with preference to your country that you're going to be operating in, or the operator that you're going to be using for most of your flights, and you can save them to the liveries as well if you want to. And on displays, I've got it on kilograms and Celsius for the purpose of today, and we can set whatever else you want to in here, but we're going to leave everything else as default for now, just to help with keeping things nice and consistent for the video. And failures, all systems service based enabled for me. Preference, I like to have it all working away in the background so we get wear and tear. We'll return to the menu and go to FMC. We get nav data out of date warning, but that's fine. The aircraft is supplied with April 2024's nav data with the version that I have at the moment. We can clear that, and it's asking us to add our INS position, so clear that memo, POS init page, select the right uppermost the RS key, and then that will copy it, place it in the bottom one where it says set inertial position with all those blank boxes. So we pop that in there like so, and Echo Golf Charlie Charlie can be input into the second LSK or ref airport like so. It asks for a gate number, and we can give it gate 29. So that's all done. Onto the route page. Now this is how we get a SimBrief route request. We're going to press route request, SimBrief route, and we get this screen pop up. Now this is dependent on us having gone into the UFT and requesting that data from SimBrief, and you can see our route is loaded into the map already just there. So we want to press set payload, then set fuel. You might see the fuel quantities up here change, and then we're going to get the little message there saying SimBrief payload set. Set fuel, there's our fuel change. SimBrief block fuel set as the memo, and we can then select the route at that point. So we've got the initial altitude flight level 190. It's a good time to check the date is all correct, but it is. Once we've pressed that route request button, it goes back to the Route 1 page. You can see that it sends, and we're waiting for the little chime to say we've got a message. There we go. And we press load. Wait a moment. It's up. The uplink is loading into the FMC. And you can see it's a nice short route. Longer routes might take a few more seconds. We'll go back to page number 1, activate, execute. And we'll clear that memo, followed by the wing data and the perf init uplink as well, because it's fed all of that in for us. So the next page, perf init, we can press reject or accept to take the data in from our SIMBRE flight plan, like so. And for this route, it's operated at flight level 190. It's suggesting cruise of 230, but we want 190. We're going to manually change that. And we can press that third key down to create the 0 fuel weight. It'll import that in for us, and we can then press it again to select it. So that's pretty much all of that done nice and quick. Then we're moving on to things like performance, but we're not quite ready for that yet. So we're going to go to legs, route data, wind data load. We get the wind load up there, we can execute. And then we're going to go to departure and arrival. And we're going to feed in our SIMBRE flight plan with our departure routes. So we're going to have the SANBA 1 Romeo departure out of runway 23 right. So select the runway first, filter by SID, SANBA 1 Romeo, like so. Execute that. And because we're doing a very short flight today to London Heathrow, we want to preset our arrival routing as well. So we're going to press departure arrival again, select Heathrow arrivals, ILS 27 left, Bovingdon transition, BNN, and then we're going to press next page and we'll find Honolulu 1 Hotel at the top of that star list there. So we'll select Hon 1 Hotel and it should look like that. And then we'll execute that. Now if we go to the legs page, we're going to see our departure routing to SANBA, Utuksa Honolulu Tobid, Soppit at flight level 150, and then through Bovington to the runway at London Heathrow. VNAV page gives us a lot of different data for cruise speeds, climb performance, all that sort of thing. We're going to press next page to go to 3 of 3, and then we're going to go forecast, load. You can see there it's fed all the data in. And if at any point you get that little white light over exec appear, then it's asking you to execute something. Verify that it is what you want to change, and then press that button if it ever pops up. And then we're going to press route, takeoff, and for now we're going to pause with the FMC. So currently the weather here at Manchester is quite nice. It's a QNH of 1020, so I'm going to set that now. I'm going to flick across to HPA, and we're going to scroll up to change our barometric pressure setting to 1020. Temperature's 20 degrees, the wind's 3408 knots, and broken cloud at 3,300 feet. So the QNH is set. We're going to press HP in on our standby instrument to make sure that changes as well, and then we're going to toggle the auto brake to RTO. We just work across, nice, simple. And then we're going to have a little look at the MCP, and this is where we need the charts. So there's our routes. This is Navigraph that you can see on your screen, and we're going to load up our departure routing, which has an initial climb of 5,000 feet. So we're going to set on the MCP 5,000. Now to change it from the 100 setting there's a little click spot just at the top between auto and 1000. You can click that and it flicks the collar across, and we can then move that to 5. We want to set the runway heading as well, so on the airport charts 23 right is on a heading of 231. So we're going to set that on the heading as well. Now that that's done, we want to move the tablet. And to do that, a couple of different click spots. We're going to take it from its current position down to where our FMC is to help with our pre-flight, basically. So it's all in one nice neat area. We're going to click the spot around Boeing 777. A little click spot there moves the tablet across. So there it is. And to get the performance calculator, like the 737 series, we want to press the performance tool icon. So we're going to go import from OFP, 23 right to set the runway, and we're going to import from aircraft to get its current stats. And at this stage we can set anything specific. So if you want to do a toga takeoff, select TO, but it's better to leave it optimum for now. And we can import the weather like so as well, followed by calculate. And it's going to run the data for us. It can give us the cell temps, M1, and the flap setting for our takeoff. So with that in mind, we're going to go flap 5. CG, we can press that and click it again to load in our centre of gravity, and we're getting some advisory VREFs there. We haven't quite done our thrust limit page yet though. On the bottom right there's the option. We're going to press that key to go across to our thrust limit page. And we're going to go cell temp 64, and it's automatically chosen climb profile 2. If it hasn't done that, then I would have chosen that anyway, just to smooth out the departure. And then that allows us to sort our VREFs out. So it's already advised us that based on the VREFs system being on at the bottom, we can go ahead and commit to those. And then we can look up 153 for V2, and we'll set 153 for our initial speed. Like so. Flight director's on. LNAV, VNAV. And we're almost ready. If we've got a transponder code from any clearance that we've received, from VATSIM or anything else, now would be a good time to make sure that's all set. And if you want to, you can do all of your evac tests and things as well. But we're not going to touch on that today. We're going to blast through sorting out simple flights. If you are wondering, there are your comms for your radios, and Unicom obviously on VATSIM would be 122.8. We just flick the switches like so. We've got cabin interphone systems in here. We can flick through. And we can change all of our lighting as required. We've got the little park brake lever. Next to that we've got our stap trim indicators. And with all of that now set, we can go ahead and move the tablet back by pressing the little screw there in the clamp. Get that out of the way so we can monitor some of our screens a bit better. We're going to look back up to the overhead panel. And because we're going to depart fairly soon, we're just going to get the left and right pumps all switched on. If you turn the centre pumps on and they're empty, you'll get the low pressure warning lights, but we don't need those. We shall keep them off. Now on the left we're going to go APU on and then across to start. And then we should get APU running as an indication on our status page there shortly. If you want to follow checklists, you can use this panel here. Check L is going to give you all of that. So things like oxygen tested 100%. If you want to do that, you can look at your oxygen mask and you can press the test button like so. And you can just work through all of those different pages if you wish to help you learn the jet. During the APU start sequence, you can monitor the air page and it will show you the APU come online, and you'll be able to basically see the way that the APU bleed air is moving through the system, which is quite cool to see. And then there's that APU running status on the list there as well. So with all that done, we're going to come off external power. We're going to go back to the UFT, into the ground operations page. Ground connections, release the jetway. Park brake's already on, we've checked that. We're going to remove the chocks, and we can see that everything else has started to clear away and move from the aircraft. We can make sure all the doors are closed, and when they do, they'll move to the arming position, which the crew can do automatically, or we can just press arm all to get them already armed. And then we're going to put this back onto the electronic flight bag. We're going to press the engine status page, which will give us the lower screen onto the engine mode, and if you're using something like GSX, now would be the time to prepare for pushback. Once the tug has got in place and you're ready to go, we're going to turn that beacon light on. And then there's a little button right there that says count recall. You want to basically press that to clear the warning on that center screen. Press it again to do a recall, and you can see engine shutdown is the only failure or issue that's being warned about currently. So next up, pushback and engine start. Fairly simple sequence in this. Much like the 787, it's a fairly automated process involving a lot of engine monitoring. Okay, once we're ready for push, everything's cleared and out of the way. We've done the recall check, anti-collision light is on, and we can clear the parking brakes. So park brake off, engine start then, left engine to begin with. You can start left or right to begin with, depending on your preference, and we're going to select the left mode, switch across to the start position. Packs are auto, you can see there they've just changed the status, turn the APU bleed air off, the packs off, to push the air into the engines, and the N2's rising quite quickly there. Through 20, fuel control left to switch to the run position, and we'll start throwing fuel into the engine. Once that's stabilised, which will be around about now, about 22%, N2 around 70, you'll notice the start switch has gone back to norm. We're going to go engine right to start, and we'll monitor the engine to N2. Again, like before, it rises pretty quick. Through 20, fuel control lever to run for engine number 2, and we'll wait for this one to spool up.
Set parking brakes. unlocking gear.
Once that's done, on the overhead panel, we're going to make sure gens 1 and 2 are on, and we've got no lights. So that's on the left panel there, left main, right main, on, and the lights that we saw earlier are now off, showing that the gens are online. Packs on the right hand side, left on, no lights, right on, no lights, and that light's just gone off now that the engine bleed air is available. Anti-ice, we double check, make sure that's all on automatic. And the packs are currently on auto. And as the system stabilizes, the packs will turn themselves on. Flaps, for this we want to set 5. So we can just press 5 if you want to, or if you've got a certain bit of hardware set up for flap 5, you can select that like so. And then you'll get the flap 5 indication there. Elevator trim needs to be set for takeoff, so for that we're going to go to route, takeoff, trim wants to be at 5, and we want to move the trim to the correct value for our takeoff, like so. Aileron trim and rudder trim. Aileron trim's just there on the yoke, we want to make sure that's on 0. And the rudder trim down here, we want to make sure that's on 0 as well. Followed by our flight control checks. So on the right hand side, we're going to put the status page on the lower screen to flight controls. And we want to go and test our flight control surfaces, make sure they're full and free. So we're watching all the indications there, making sure our left to right ailerons and flaperons are all moving in the correct way and deflecting fully. Elevators doing the same, and you can also check your rudder trim settings and your stab trim on that display there. So 00 stab trim set as required. We'll do our rudder test. Back to the engine page, all the engine instruments look good. Check we've got LNAV and VNAV armed. Warning recall. So we do press the recall button, we get the recall, no warnings, and the lower ECAM screen can now go off. And then we request taxi. So there we have it, end of episode 1, cold and dark, through to engine start in the mighty PMDG 777-300ER for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Join us on the next episode. We're going to cover taxi, takeoff, climb through to cruise for episode 2. Hit like, hit subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you for the next one. Take care.